All right, so let me open the session. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting day of masterclasses hosted by the IAPC&M. I'm your host, 𝗬𝗍, APC, and I'm delighted to be here with you. In recognition of National Stress Awareness Day, we're hosting a special members-only masterclass series designed to help coaches strengthen their own self-care and resilience. This is a masterclass series packed with practical, supportive, and nourishing sessions that put your well-being first. This is your space to pause, reset, and replenish. Our first guest today was Dr. Rodney King. He shared with us simple, evidence-informed breathwork and microsomatic practices. The second speaker was the lovely Caroline Carroll. She explored the language of the nervous system, how the body communicates through sensations, emotions, and energy, and how tools like EFT and somatic practices can help regulate, release, and restore balance from the inside out. Up next speaking is John Rice, certified mental resilience coach, who will talk to us about LinkedIn. Actually, lots of coaches have shared that they can find LinkedIn stressful, and this is why we've decided to do a masterclass about the tool. So what's different and unique about John's coaching is the calmness he brings to his client lives, the positive encouragement for action. John co-creates action plans with his clients so they can keep moving forward. And he also follows up to hold them accountable. It is very important to John that people keep taking action. Intention and attention put on actions. So you will come out of this session today with everything you need to know about LinkedIn. Your profile, what really matters and what doesn't. Your connections, i.e. your network, who to connect with, how to grow your network with intention, which is really important for every coach, and direct messages, how to start real conversations without feeling salesy or awkward. So John, it's a real pleasure to have you here today. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Elena. It's really good to be here, and I've done a few sessions on LinkedIn before. And just to position where this is in my business, as a coach 3 or 4 years ago when I was just starting, I really struggled to win business, and I have tried everything just about under the sun to land clients. But what I have found is that LinkedIn is a really good place to prospect for your ideal client. You're 5 times more likely to win business on LinkedIn than any other social media platform, and done the right way, which I'm going to show you in a few minutes with Elena's help. LinkedIn is a great place for coaches, both new and seasoned coaches, to win business.
Fantastic. So what matters in a profile?
Oh, that's a really good one. I mean, I think the best way of describing this, Elena, is if you had a physical shop in the high street, then your profile on LinkedIn is your shop window to your coaching. So I see so many coaches spend a lot of time on LinkedIn making their profile look great, and that's really good. But what I say is, if you were trying to attract your ideal client, what would you put in your shop window? I see many coaches saying, I do coaching, I do mentoring, I also do a bit of Toastmasters, I'll also do workshops for you. And that really does not speak to your ideal client. Your ideal client, I was using my ideal client as an example, Elena, would be stress CEOs and their executive teams. So my LinkedIn profile needs to attract CEOs who are stressed and have some challenges perhaps with their leadership team. So if you were to look at my profile, and we might share a few profiles later, that is why your profile is so important. See it as your website, see it as your shop window. I still don't have a website, Elena. I don't need one because most of my business does come through LinkedIn. I mean, I appreciate a lot of coaches do want websites, and maybe for a few of them it could be important. But what I see time and time again, and I was guilty of this as well. I thought I needed a website to be a coach. I thought I needed it straight away. But unless you're going to pay thousands to have search engine optimization, it's very difficult to get your coaching site ranked on Google or any other of the search engines. LinkedIn takes that away and takes that challenge away. You have a great profile, you connect with the right people, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes, and the prospects will come.
That's very, very interesting and encouraging at the same time. So what about the connections? How can a coach build one's network on LinkedIn?
Well, it starts with your profile. So we'll just spend a little bit more time on that. If your ideal client, and I'll use mine as an example, is CEOs, and I have a program, which is a wonderful positive intelligence 7-week mental resilience program, I'm going to call that my lead offer or my lead magnet. So when I'm designing my LinkedIn profile, that is what I talk about. I will share my screen actually very quickly now and just show you, because there's nothing better than showing you. So you can see here, my profile is absolutely geared to CEOs and their leadership teams. I state it here, and they thrive from stressed and burnt out to happy and calm in only 7 weeks. So if I am connecting, which was your next question, Elena, with my ideal client, who is a CEO, when they see my profile, they're going to go, this guy looks like he could have something to offer me. If my profile was just very general, saying I'm a coach, I'm a leadership coach, it might not speak to them so directly. So we'll come on to who to connect with in a couple of minutes. But again, there are so many little things that you can do on your profile to make it very clear that you are speaking through your profile to your ideal client. Really, gone are the days where LinkedIn is a shop window for you as a prospective employee, sorry. Most people, or a lot of people, are still using LinkedIn as if it's going to get them their next job. So that is even shown in about sections as well. You'll see my about section is very clear, and it's just talking to that CEO. So your leadership team isn't the problem. It's the stress that they're carrying, and then I talk about some of the figures. A lot of about sections that I see, even coaches will list their qualifications, they'll list everything they've ever done in the past. But again, speaking directly to your ideal client, I'm sorry to say this, but they are not really interested at that stage, how qualified you are, all the places you've ever worked in. They want to know, what can this person solve for me now?
And this makes a lot of sense as you share that. So how can a coach build their network on LinkedIn?
Brilliant question, Elena. So what I will say to you is, and again, I resisted this, so I'm coming from a place of having made the mistakes, and I love sharing my mistakes. So I think there still is a big resistance to coaches to what I call niche down. So I think there's probably another analogy though that might seem better. If you were a person who fished and you had a massive net that you could throw out into a lake and catch 500 fish in one go, many of those fish aren't going to be edible. Some of them are going to be too small. Some of them might be ill. Some of them are just not the kind of fish that you like to eat. But if you have a fishing rod and you just put on the right bait and the right fly and throw that out, you are going to catch your ideal client. And I'd like you to think of that, and anyone who's watching this and listening, is to think about niching down as just getting to much more towards the person that you ideally love working with and that your program or your coaching offering matches with. So there are two ways, main ways on LinkedIn to connect with people. You can use LinkedIn's free version. If you do that, you have about 10 or 12 filters that you can use, and it's absolutely possible to get down to a list of people that is more relevant to your niche and your target than it would be just sending out random connection requests. What I would suggest is, though, and I like this, because if you go onto LinkedIn and use their Sales Navigator, that's their premium offering. There's many things you can have under premium, by the way, and I want to make it really clear to us as coaches, you don't need anything other than Sales Navigator. So that's the premium package you'll be choosing when you're given a whole list of them by LinkedIn. And here's some great news. If you have never used Premium or Sales Navigator, let's just call it Sales Navigator for clarity, it's very likely that when you click on it, LinkedIn will offer you either a free month or they'll offer you a reduced amount for 3 months. So I would always play around with that, maybe get as far as clicking onto the buy button on the Sales Navigator, perhaps leave it then for a day. I'm almost convinced that LinkedIn will then reach out to you and say, we saw you're interested, why don't you have a month on us? Now, with Sales Navigator, I will bring that up in a quick share. So you can see that I have premium. You can always tell if a coach or anybody has got premium because you'll see the gold button there. And because I've got Sales Navigator, I can now click on the Sales Navigator button. And what we're going to show you now, takes a little time to load occasionally. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, great. So there's so much to show you on Sales Navigator, but if I were showing you just the native search function here, you can search for, let's search for you, Elena. And if I didn't know where you were, I could perhaps go into companies, but in essence, these are the only filters that you get on the free version. So in fact, we'll click on all filters to show you. So you can see there's a few, but on Sales Navigator, there are some pretty amazing filters that we can use. So if we went on to Sales Navigator now, I'm not proposing to spend too long on this, but what I will do is point out a few things on Sales Navigator, which is going to help you as a coach get towards your ideal client and get closer to them. So we'll take a quick step back. What we're doing at the moment, we are searching for people who are our ideal prospects. This is so that we can then send them a connection request and connect with them if they accept. And trust me, if you've got your profile right and speaking to your ideal client, it's very likely they'll connect. I'll give you a little statistic here. If you are connecting with, or 50% of the people that you send out connections to connect with you, that is a very good connection rate. Any more is brilliant. Any less, that may be an indication that you need to tweak a few things. And it could be you tweak your profile or you tweak some of these filters that we're going to use here. So as I said, I'm not going to go through all of these, but what I will say to you is some of the really interesting parts here are the job title. So you can see here, if I add CEO in, I can include CEOs. So that is immediately for me as John Rice talking to my ideal client, because my ideal client is a CEO. The other thing I'd just point out over on the right-hand side here is each filter you use will then tell you how many results you've got. So you can see by putting in CEO, I know that there are 1 billion users now on LinkedIn, which is just incredible. Just by putting in CEO, I've reduced the results down to 5 million. When you use these filters, by the way, what you really want to get down to is a list in the low thousands, and then you can begin to pick even more accurately your ideal client. So again, you could go for any geographical location. I'll go for Europe. And I think you can probably see then, you always keep an eye over here. That's reduced it by 4 million results. So we've now got 1 million. I won't use any of the other filters at the moment, but those two are really useful on the left-hand side now. By investing in or using Sales Navigator, some of the really important ones are as follows. You only want second degree connections. And I'll explain really briefly what that is. If somebody is a second degree connection, that means if you and I were connected, Elena, as first connections on LinkedIn, then if someone is in your network but not in mine, they will show as a second degree connection here. So it just means when I'm connecting with people who are second degree connections, it means that someone in my network already knows this person. So that can be really useful in the contact or the connection message to say, I see we both know so-and-so. So we're going to go for second degree connections. You'll see that that has now taken it down from 1 million to 190,000. And one of the best filters on LinkedIn for not wasting your time or the person you're sending the request to is, have they posted on LinkedIn recently? I love this button because some people don't use LinkedIn, but they have a profile. There is absolutely little point in going and connecting with people who only go onto LinkedIn once or twice a year. You want people who are active there, who will look at your profile. So you can see if we flick that switch over again, then we're down to 80,000 results now. So I'm going to leave Sales Navigator now. It's a wonderful filter. You can actually save these lists as well. You then start connecting with these people. You can use manually to connect with them, or there is some automated software out there that you can use to connect with people. I'm not going to promote that. I have used it in the past myself, but it's a little bit of a red flag for LinkedIn. If they detect that you are using automated software to connect with people, you may get a restriction on your account. I've had it once because I didn't realize I was running my automated software. I went into LinkedIn, typed a message back to somebody, and it detected 2 uses of LinkedIn. So I'm going to come out of share now. What do you think, Elena, about a pause? Do you think Gemma or Hannah might want to ask any questions so far? No worries if you don't want to, but you can either unmute or you can type something in the chat. If there aren't any questions, we will carry on. Hi, Hannah.
Hi, John. Thank you for that so far. Actually, I don't even have a LinkedIn account at the moment, and actually it's something that I haven't had up until this point, just because I've sort of thought most of my clients for my niche will be on Instagram, so my focus has been building that. But then just in the past couple of weeks, I've taken on some freelance work, which is slightly out of my niche, and for the first time, I've thought, I wonder if it is worth just having that like LinkedIn profile there. So for example, the company I've got some freelance work with have asked me for my photo so that they can sort of announce that I've joined them on their LinkedIn profile. So I suppose kind of my question would be, because a lot of my time and energy is going into Instagram, so there wouldn't be kind of so much time left for LinkedIn to sort of be there on LinkedIn and be active enough. Sort of how often do you feel that somebody should be on there kind of posting updates and just kind of keeping up to date with it?
Yep, it's a really great question, Hannah, and well done for Instagram too. I have only found for me that, and it's probably my ideal client lives on LinkedIn. Yours may not so much, and it's really good. I just say it's really great that you spend the time where you're getting most of your results. What I will say, I think a LinkedIn profile is pretty simple and easy to set up. If you heard at the beginning, it would be an ideal opportunity for you to pretty much just use it as an advert for what you do. Have a booking link, maybe have a link to your website if you have one, maybe even have a link to your Instagram if that is the place where you post most stuff. So I think it could be a really good shop window for you, Hannah. It doesn't have to cost you anything. It also means that, as you've just said, if you do get hired freelance, then the company that's hiring you can make mention and cross-reference your profile when you set it up with their company profile. What I would say to you, Hannah, is you need to look at where your efforts are best spent. And if that's on Instagram, then I don't think there is much need to post much on LinkedIn at all. Even for those people who are very active on LinkedIn, posting once or twice a week is absolutely enough. I hear so much about LinkedIn algorithms, and I know they're like the Facebook and Instagram ones. It's like chasing a rainbow, I think, trying to understand them. So what I teach in the programs that I run, which is the Fully Booked Coach, is just do what feels good on there. If you're connecting with people on there, then that is a different game that you're playing on LinkedIn than if you just want a presence there in case someone wants to check you out. So I'll press pause. If you want any more questions, please ask.
Thank you, John.
Brilliant. Okay. So, Elena, where are we? So we have looked at the LinkedIn profile as your shop window for your services. We've begun to talk about who to connect with. I would say that growing your connections on LinkedIn is very useful. And again, I won't keep caveating it for Hannah, but if you are going to use LinkedIn to prospect for your clients, it is absolutely worth spending a fair amount of time getting it right. We've had students in our program who have, after just 2 weeks, created a stunning profile. And it's not about them. I think that's what I'm going to keep saying. The profile is not about them. It's not promoting who they are. It is speaking to their ideal client. So I'll press pause, Elena, if you want to ask anything, or if not, I will move on.
I want to ask a question. So what you've shared is extremely useful, especially for the coaches that are niching. And I know there is a huge debate out there. Shall a coach be niching or not? This is not the focus of our masterclass today. But what if a coach doesn't want to niche? Can LinkedIn still help that coach?
Yeah, absolutely, Elena. I'm not here to persuade anyone to do anything that doesn't feel right for them. I'm just going to tell you what my experience was. I resisted niching for so long as a coach, maybe a year, 18 months. And when I look back, that did not make it clear who I was working with. So, let me add something else to this, because I think a lot of successful coaches, in 3 or 4 years after starting, often forget where they came from. So I'm going to tell you very honestly and vulnerably where I came from. So I wasn't getting enough bookings. I would also say I would coach, back in 2020, 2021, I would coach anybody. And, the gurus tell us, I'll use ฤic Litvin as an example. I don't know whether anyone knows ฤic Litvin as a coach, But he started off coaching with a predefined pack of playing cards with coaching questions on a beach in Thailand for $10 an hour. Now, he would be the first to say now, 30 years later, don't charge by the hour. You know, make sure your price is right. But we all start somewhere, and this is what I really remind myself, and I want to remind everybody, you all started coaching your first paying client. You all started paying, you know, coaching your first package client. I learned far more, Elena, in the first year of coaching, when I would coach anybody, from those people who were not my ideal client. And that is really valuable, because I don't know whether I would have got to a point where I knew who my ideal client was if I hadn't coached so many people who were not, you know, 8, 9, or 10 out of 10 for my ideal client. So I think coaches should start, and you know, the most important thing, and I say this many, many times, Elena, the most important thing as a coach is to get coaching. It's not perfecting your LinkedIn profile, which I know I'm going to shoot myself in the foot a bit because of what we're talking about today. It's not creating your website. It's not thinking you need a book before you can start coaching. You don't need to author a book. The most important thing is to get out there and get the experience of coaching and get those coaching hours. Now, if you do that for free, brilliant. If you do it for £10 an hour, brilliant. It's the next part of the journey, which I think is very important, which is, you know, of course, you need to be valued. There's horrible statistics that 80% of coaches won't be in business in 2 years' time because they're not making enough money. So it's really, I think the path to coaching and being a successful coach doesn't have to be stressful, and it can be relatively easy. I think just getting those coaching hours for a start is absolutely the first step. Then it's maybe putting a profile together on LinkedIn. I say to you, I'll remind you again, I have a squeeze page and a landing page for certain things, but I still don't have a website. And that's me 5 years in now to coaching. So I'm not sure that answers your question directly, but I think there are many things that coaches are told that they should do or could do, but the most important is to get yourself out there and get coaching.
Thank you so much. This offers a very valuable perspective. All right. So I was wondering if our audience will be interested in you talking to us about how to craft a worthy direct message on LinkedIn. So would you mind sharing a bit about that, please?
I absolutely will. So I'm smiling because direct messages, there are so many different views and opinions out there. And I'm going to just say what has worked for me. And I'm also going to be honest and say what hasn't worked for me in the past. So if we were looking at messaging, I think we have all been on the receiving end of very salesy, very pushy messages, both on email and on direct messages. I would say, and you might expect this because I am a mental resilience coach, but I think going into messaging your new connections, so let's say you connected with 10 people last week, first of all, it's really exciting. And I'd also say you need to be in a positive mindset when you start typing out those messages, because if you're thinking to yourself, oh God, here we go again. I sent 20 out last week, didn't get one reply. That is going to come over in your messaging. So I often say to coaches, you send messages when you have high energy, when you are feeling very positive, and not to beat yourself up if you don't feel like that. If you take a day off or two from sending messages, nothing's going to happen in the world except that you won't get any responses, and that doesn't matter because you're going to do it another day. So I'm going to give you what I think is the most effective way to get in touch with your ideal client, sorry, your new connections on LinkedIn. If we've got time, I might even show you I show it for a reason, a rather embarrassing video. But anyway, let's just tell you about the way I do it. So once someone's connected with me, and I will say this as well, I'm a bit of a stats nerd. So when I send out a connection request on LinkedIn, I've tested putting a message there saying, hi, John, I see we both know so-and-so. It'd be great to be in your network. And I leave it blank. There is no difference in my experience of whether I put a connection message or not. So if you don't want to put one, don't put one. If you want to put one, put one. When someone connects, I think it's important to give them 12, 24 hours before you jump onto the DM and send them something. Otherwise, it can look a little bit stalky. I would give it 24 hours. It doesn't matter if it's a couple of days either. I think there's a magic window about 3 days, because if they've looked at your profile and it resonated with them, I think that is fairly fresh in their memory. After 3 days, they might remember if you then send them a DM. Oh yeah, I connected with John a few days ago. Wonder what he wants. So here is the magic that I use. It's not for everybody, and it will take you out of your comfort zone. It certainly took me out of mine. But what I do is I use a piece of software called Loom. There's lots of other things around as well that you can use to record yourself. And I position myself in the center of my new connections LinkedIn profile on camera. And I just hit record and I start talking to them. I say, hi, Elena, thanks ever so much for connecting. It's great to be in your network. I noticed you recently posted on your big achievement in Bulgaria. Congratulations on that. I really love having real conversations with my new connections. Would you be up for a 15-minute chat? No subject, let's just have a chat. And then I send them that video. And sometimes I might mention a little bit about my mental resilience program, but I'm now thinking, having sent 500 2-minute videos last year to my LinkedIn connections, that it's probably best in that first conversation not to mention anything about anything you're selling. It is a genuine connection and it's a genuine video. It stands out because people don't often get a video. I mean, I could ask Gemma or Hannah just to put a thumbs up. Have you ever had a video message on LinkedIn via direct messenger? No, don't think so. Okay, so I wasn't going to do this, but we have got time. So last year, Gemma wouldn't open it. Okay, do you know what, Gemma? That is a really valid concern, because some people don't like they don't like clicking on links that they don't know. I have only had 3 or 4 people who have said, I am not clicking on your link unless you tell me something. But I'm going to play you a video that I sent, and it was only the 7th video I ever created last year. I am mentally resilient, as you'd hope, being a mental resilience coach, but it still makes me cringe a little bit. But I'm pleased with that cringe, because when you record videos for people, they don't want perfection. They want people who are genuine. They want people who make mistakes. It doesn't need to be a polished studio. You don't need a proper microphone. You don't need special lighting. You just need to be clear in what you're saying. So give me a second or two, Elena, and I will just key up our video. And make sure I click on the sound as well. Share sound. Yeah, okay. Right. So I hope Jim won't mind. Jim was a client of mine. He was not at Unipart, by the way, when I sent him this video. So I'm just going to, first of all, whiz up here and show you exactly. So you can see 7th of January last year, I sent him a message. Hi, Jim. Thanks for connecting. Here's a personal message for you. I'm going to play it. I'm going to be brave. I didn't think it was great. As I say, it was the 7th one I'd made. You can probably, if you, in fact, I'll give you a few pointers. I had the script stuck on the windscreen behind my laptop as I was reading it because I hadn't learned it yet. I was nervous. Anyway, I'll play it. But this is what I sent him. Just give me a thumbs up when you can hear the video. Hi Jim, John here. Thanks ever so much for connecting. I see we both know Dave Lowe, and I'm Northamptonshire born and bred, so know Lutterworth pretty well too. I wanted to shoot you this short video, Jim. I know it's a bit unusual, but I know from my own experience that being a CEO or business owner is often very challenging. So I wanted to grab a few minutes of your time in the next few days. Now, why would you give me that precious time? Well, I'm a mindset resilience expert, and I wanted to show you how, with only 15 minutes a day, you can reduce stress, get better sleep, improve all relationships, and navigate the inevitable challenges of life with ease. And this program's not just for you, it could be for your exec team as well. Your mind is your best friend, but it can also be your worst enemy. If you're curious to find out how you can benefit from such great outcomes in such a short time, let's chat and see if you're a fit for this transformational program. And if you're ready, I'll answer all of your questions, and I promise there's no hard or even soft sell from me. You will decide. Thanks again, Jim. I look forward to hearing from you. It could be the best decision you ever make. Just to let you know, over 700,000 people have been through this program already. Take care, Jim. So I hope you could hear that okay. I was amazed by Jim's response. It was like, oh, wow, I haven't received a video before. This looks interesting. And the reason that I show this, and the reason that it's also in the program that I run as an example, is because of my imperfections, because you can tell I was reading, if you know it, from behind the screen. But Jim initially spent £1,000 with me to do the 7-week program. Then he took on some one-to-one coaching, which was valued at £3,000. Then he moved company to Unipart, which is, if you were very observant, you saw he was at Paragon. Now he's at Unipart. He has put 4 more of his executives through the program and also taken some one-to-one coaching for them. So my 2-minute video has probably brought me in around 15 or 16,000 pounds worth of business. So I know, Gemma, you've said you wouldn't open it, and that's fine. That's personal. A lot of people do. A lot of people do like the approach, and it's a very interesting one on actually using some software like Loom as well, because you're only creating that video for that one person. So when they watch it, I get notified that they've watched it. So that's very useful, because if they watch it and don't reply to my email, I can say, oh, I saw you had a look at the video. Did you have any questions? It's a really great way and an opener of keeping that DM conversation going. So I'm going to press pause now, because often people have a lot of questions about creating a video for LinkedIn. Yeah, thank you. The free version's good. Hannah uses Loom anyway. Do you know what, Hannah? I started, as I say, creating these videos last year. I now use it for absolutely everything. If I've got a support ticket to open on a bit of software, I just record the screen and show them exactly what, and it gets such good you know, responses. So it's really good. There's an opportunity to learn, Gemma. I absolutely feel for you that saying you're rubbish with tech, but I won't mention the lady's name, but I'm currently working with a coach who is known to IAPC&M as she was the founder of International Coaching Week. And I think that she is probably, I won't do her an injustice, but I'm sure she's in her 70s now. And I've just helped her install Loom. She's now creating videos and she loves it. So it's never too late. And I'm not ageist, Gemma. I don't know your age, but even if you are really frightened of technology, I think it's just a case of if you want to use it, of course. I'm not pushing anyone to use anything that makes them stressed or uncomfortable. That's rather not the purpose of this National Stress Awareness Day. But I think with the right person and gentle encouragement, you can learn new things and do them well. So I'm just gonna, as I say, put my self on pause now and just see if either Elena or Hannah or Gemma have any questions. Okay, great.
So no questions from Hannah. We have some time actually, John, and I was wondering if you would be keen to show us how to enhance a LinkedIn profile. So why don't we take mine, for example?
Yep. Great idea.
And share with everyone.
Yeah. So I'm not going to give anything away, but we did have a little chat about this, didn't we, Elena, before we joined. Now, Elena
Shall I spell my family name for you?
I think
yeah, that's me, the first one.
Yeah, thought it was. Brilliant. So let's position this the right way. So Elena, you are like many other coaches who are starting out. You have a full-time job, you work for a company, and this is the reason we are not actually going to change your profile today. I've worked with so many coaches who are not sure whether they should change their profile to say that they're starting to do coaching. And my advice is always the same. It's entirely up to you when you do it. I often, because I work with many coaches in my role as helping them on LinkedIn, I often say to them, why don't you ask your employer, you know, what would they think if you changed your LinkedIn profile to coach, because they know that that's your passion. And I think about 90% of coaches do come back and say, do you know what, I was really surprised. My employer doesn't mind, you know, it's they've said go ahead and do it. So I'm just acknowledging here, Elena, that can't change your profile at the moment, but we're going to
I think we lost
pretend. So I would say the following, and let's. Oh, did you? Okay. Do you want me to repeat?
So just want to check.
Or do you think we're okay?
Hannah, can you still hear us? And Gemma?
Still here.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks both. Brilliant.
Maybe my network.
Let's talk about your profile. So again, it's some of the advice is going to be very specific, and some of it is going to be bespoke just for you. I will highlight what I'm talking about as I go along. So the first thing that you can do with a LinkedIn profile, instead of using LinkedIn's generated URL, you can go in and change that. And I can't do it on yours, but I will just show you. Oh, never mind. It's easy to get to. So if I was doing this on my profile, all I would do is go into this area here. So this is public and profile 𝗬𝗏. It's got generated 𝗖𝗂𝗂𝗍𝗍𝗍. You know, an 𝗬𝗏 generated by link, got my name, who I serve, and what I do. Now that can really help in the searches on LinkedIn. So if you can, as a coach, get what you do, who you serve, and your name in, all you need to do is to click on this and edit your 𝗬𝗏 here. So it can be between 3 and 100, and as soon as you've done it, when you go back to your profile, it will have magically changed to generated one. The next thing I would do, if I were you, 𝗖𝗓, is to get verified, and you have done. So if you don't know, LinkedIn offers a free verification service now. I had a few hiccups with mine, but eventually got there. Basically, if you have a biometric passport, use your data to verify that you are who you say you are, because our profile, this is getting to be a problem. So if you have the verification, all I'll say is it just gives you another level of validation and security that people are going to trust you more. You've got your hand up.
Yeah, John, I just wanted to share. So we keep losing your audio and getting delays.
I'm not sure why. I mean, I'm on a gigabyte fiber connection, so
yeah, it just happened. It's much better now. Gemma, is there a need for John to repeat anything? Gemma says, well, do you see her message? She thinks it's when you move web pages. She's on track. There is no need to repeat anything.
Okay. I tell you what, let me just try something. I'm going to stop the share for a second and then share again. I think I've solved it. I was still sharing my computer sound instead of my mic sound. So can you hear me now? Is that okay?
Much better. Yes. Okay. Back to normal. Thank you so much.
Good.
So
thanks
what you just shared, these first 2 tips, very, very helpful.
Yeah. So the first tip, just to summarize, is edit your public 𝗬𝗏 from this generated LinkedIn one to something like similar to mine. If you can get, you have to have your name in there, by the way, but if you can get in your who you serve and what you do, that can be really useful. Secondly, get verified. You can use a biometric passport online. It takes a few minutes if you're lucky. Mine took a few attempts to get through their verification, but it just means that you are who you say you are, and it adds trust to people who are connecting with you, or more importantly, working with you. One more thing I've done on mine, which you might want to try on yours, you can record a very short audio so people can hear your voice if you like. I found that really useful. Just people have said, oh yeah, it's great to hear your voice, and you know, they have mentioned it. Let's keep going. So what I would say, if 𝗖𝗓 was coming to me now as somebody who wanted to change their profile, let's imagine, for the sake of this call, that she's left corporate life and she's a full-time coach. I would say then that you start to put into your profile in the headline who you serve and how long it takes. So you can see 𝗖𝗓's is absolutely right for her corporate job now. You know, she wants people to know that she's a TA manager, that she's accredited, and but that is mainly for her role in tech knowledge. If she's a coach, she wants to say something different, which is, like mine, maybe something like this: trusted advisor to CEOs and their leadership teams, thrive from stressed and burnt out to happy, calm, and more productive, and only blah, blah, blah. So that could be an option. I have chosen on mine to have a let's chat button. It just means if anyone is so inspired, I can probably tell you that probably in 3 or 4 years, only about 2 people have ever booked through this, but it just makes your profile very open and showing that you are willing and want to connect. So that's an option. I've seen some people have a link to their website here. I've seen others have links to assessments. All of those are an option for you as a coach. I think one of the most important things now, after you've done the first few headlines, are your about section. So, of course, if you're in the corporate world, you probably do want to list all the things you've ever done, the responsibilities you've had, etc., etc. But what I challenge people to do, and I don't win the prize completely, but see if you can write your about section without using the word I. So instead of saying I this, I that, see if you can make it about your client. So it might be your signature program. For me personally, and I'm going to say this to everybody, when I first started as a coach, I thought I needed to launch my own coaching program, and I didn't. But what I have done, and it's a shameless plug for Positive Intelligence. If there are any coaches watching here who want to try a brilliant 7-week program, which is the one that I talk about here, as long as you are an active coach, you can register at Positive Intelligence for their next cohort, and it's completely free. I have probably get 90% of my business through promoting and running the Positive Intelligence 7-week program. It's a whole other subject, and maybe IAPC&M would like to ask me back on that. But what I'm basically saying is, if you have not got your own coaching program, but you have a framework, or you perhaps are affiliated with another coaching program like Positive Intelligence, the day that I change my profile to become this as the lead magnet or the lead offer that I offer on through LinkedIn, my business changed. I can use all of the information from Positive Intelligence, all of their statistics. Like 1 million people now have taken the saboteurs assessment, for example, which is, again, a really useful free tool that you can get people to engage with you on your LinkedIn profile. But anyway, I'm going to press pause on Positive Intelligence. But if you can, with your about section, lead with what your client, your ideal client's challenges are, and what your solution is, and how they're going to get there, that is what you would do in the about section. I'm going to press pause now on myself, Elena, and see if you have any other questions, but happy to carry on.
This has been so insightful. Thank you so much. We actually have 2 questions. One is from Hannah. She's asking what industry we shall be selecting as life coaches on LinkedIn.
Okay, let me just have a look. Sorry, just repeat the question. I don't know whether Gemma can or you can.
Hannah, if you can unmute yourself and ask away, or I can repeat it. It's up to you, Hannah.
I'm just wondering, John, what industry to select. I'm actually like setting up a profile right now.
Okay.
And I'm just wondering what industry, because there's no kind of exactly like coaching, life coaching industry.
Do you know what? I can't remember what I chose. And this is for your profile yourself, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember. There from my memory, but this was, you know, I don't know how many years ago. I probably had a profile for 15 years. I don't think there was an option to choose coach or life coach or business coach, but I mean, I would need to ask you, Hannah, what is your specialism in coaching? What do you do? Are you still there, Hannah? Okay, never mind. I think I think there is from memory something professional services, and I mean for me, because I'm dealing with CEOs, I probably chose, you know, probably a business coach or executive coach as my choice. But it's interesting because it doesn't matter too much what you choose, but I would choose something. Yeah, that's training, coaching, service category. That could be good. Yeah. I wouldn't get too hung up on it, Hannah. I mean, it's more for them to categorize you. It's fine. Categorize you as a you know, in one of their pots or you know their filters. But even if you chose something that felt fairly close to what you do, that's fine. You're going to make the profile your own, and that is what's going to be shown out in the world.
Thank you for answering this question, John. And Gemma is actually curious if you could please take a look at her LinkedIn profile. Gemma, would you mind if John clicks the link with your profile and shares his screen? She's
yeah, no problem at all.
Okay, right. About to share your screen then, Gemma. And if you want to ask me the question or I can't get chat up as well as share my screen. So either
No,
Elena,
that's
if you
fine. I said, is it cheating that in my about me I used we instead of I?
No, not at all. Let me have a quick look. Okay. I mean, the only thing that I might say there, Gemma, is, and you know, and I'm an expert in writing about sections. I wouldn't say I'm an expert in ADHD. So you may have written this in a very specific way. What I would say is that if you listed some of, instead of saying we believe every person is a hidden gem, you might want to use the direct language. You are special. You are full of potential. You are waiting to shine. And then say our coaching is holistic. So I would probably break it down a little bit more than this. And if you can then say what your wealth of experience is, rather than we bring a wealth of experience, be specific. Tell me as a parent of a child with autism, how you help. How you can help directly. So it takes a bit of I don't know whether the right word is courage, but it needs to be so clear when someone looks at the about section, they need to leave going, do you know what? Gemma actually gets me, gets my situation, and I think she's the right person to help me. That's what they should go away thinking. So the clearer you can make it and the more, you know, don't be scared about being direct. I would say that I mean, I don't know, Gemma, I'll ask you, I guess it comes from a place of deep knowledge on ADHD and autism. So I would say if it does, be vulnerable, maybe tell a bit of your personal story, if that feels safe enough for you. But people connect with people who they know get their challenges.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. Okay, so I know we're getting close to the bottom of the hour, so I will be guided by my wonderful host here on what we do or how we close down.
Just realized I was on mute.
That's all right.
John, this masterclass has been packed with so many practical, stress-free tips for all of us, how to use LinkedIn to help us get our coaching messaging clear, approach prospects, and thrive as coaches. So thank you so much for being with us, sharing your expertise. And I look forward to the possibility of hosting you in the future.
Thanks, Elena. And I've just popped a link in the bottom. It's a completely complimentary resource. It's 3 20-minute videos on what we've covered today, and you're very welcome to look at them, use them. You get an action sheet as well. Of course, if you want to reach out to me, you probably can find me on LinkedIn now, and I would be delighted to have a chat with anybody who's watching the recording, or Hannah and Gemma if they want to get in touch.
Great. So with this, we will conclude this masterclass, and I hope that you all have a great rest of the day. Thank you for joining us.